It took forever for it to go live. It was kind of weird there. But anyway, I am Demetra Kaye, and I hope that you are having a great day. Thank you for joining me here on the African Diaspora News channel, where it is my pleasure to continue a great conversation with you. Of course, you can normally find me on my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, Facebook and YouTube, 5 p.m. Central Time, Sunday through Tuesday again. 5 p.m. Central Time, Sunday through Tuesday. But of course, you can also find me here on the African Diaspora News channel Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time. Again, Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time. Today, we're going to have a conversation about former Vice President Kamala Harris. She is making the rounds everywhere. She's being heard and speaking out about a whole host of things that are going on in the country. But today, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris has gotten off cold from the Black Democrat agenda. She's definitely off code as far as they're concerned, but she is on script. And I'm going to show y'all about that in just a second. But as we wait for everybody to come on, Albie Chill, how you doing? El, what's going on with you, Edward? Hope you're having a great day. Cloudless and King Noble, thank you for being here early. I saw y'all comments earlier. Delon, what's going on with you? Abdul. We are going to be in a few places, Columbus, Ohio, to be exact, May 23rd at the Ohio Black Expo. We've been invited out again. We meaning Brother Phil, Sister Vicky, Sister Emma. We're going to have a great conversation. And this time we're going to have a live interaction with the audience. You can ask us questions. We'll have, a little bit of back and forth. It's going to be a lot of fun. I personally cannot wait for that. But in order for you to do that, you must go to OhioBlackExpo.com, OhioBlackExpo.com to get your tickets. And you won't just see us there. You're going to see a whole lot of music, and there's going to be food and all kind of other entertainment. And, other people will be on the empowerment stage. I think we're going to be on the big stage and the empowerment stage. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, go to OhioBlackExpo.com to get your tickets so that we can see you there. Then we're going to be in Toronto, Canada, July 25th, again this summer. And we're going to have an AD&C Narrative Power Summit. Listen up. The thing is, we always hear about people having their, different summits. You hear about NAN, right? National Action Network, and the one I'm about to show you from the root. Everybody has all these summits. Well, we're going to have one, and we're going to start to have them, in the future everywhere. But in order for us to do that, you got to buy your ticket. Yes, you do. You got to go to africandiasporanews.org/Canada, africandiasporanews.org/Canada to get your ticket so we can continue to go all over the country and the world, right? To have these conversations with you all. So please and thank you in advance. Lastly, we have our own app, African Diaspora News Channel app that you can get from your Google and your Apple Play Store, from your phone, or wherever you get your apps from, so that you can get the news that you can use from us. When I say us, I mean Black folks. That is for Black folks. Again, they allow us to use these platforms, whether it's YouTube, Facebook. They allow us to do that, and we are so grateful that they do. But at any moment, they can say, you know what? We don't think we want y'all on here. Then where would you find us? I'll tell you where you can find us. You can find us on our own app. Again, go to your Google, your Apple Play Store to get the African Diaspora News channel app and all of that. For those of y'all who have it already, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you. And for those of you who don't, what's taking you so long? Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. All right, I had to catch my breath. Anyway, so as you guys know, Kamala Harris, who is not in politics at the moment, but she sure talks a lot about politics. She's making the rounds. She did not win her candidacy to be the president of the United States in 2024. She didn't primary for it. It was kind of given to her because Joe Biden dropped out at the last minute amongst concerns of, hey, is he all there, right? Is the elevator going all the way to the top and all those other things? I know he's older. He might have some cognitive things going on. So it became clear that, I don't think he's the man for the job. During the debate that he had with now President Donald Trump, where just, Biden was just kind of saying some weird things that didn't go together, right? Like a peanut butter and mustard sandwich. It doesn't really go together. So anyway, the calls became very loud. Hey, you need to step down. The call was coming from inside the house, from the DNC. Hey, this ain't the man for the job. So Kamala was given the job at the last minute. And so from that, you see now a lot of sound bites of her saying, I tried to tell you, and people saying, we tried to tell you, because of all the things that's going on with the Trump administration. We got a war right now in Iran that United States seemed like they stepped in. They can't step out of it unless they wave the white flag and all this other stuff that's going on. You got very high gas prices. Food prices are through the roof, housing, just you name it, right? Because Trump said he was going to bring everything down, but I think he meant the opposite. I didn't know, because that was supposed to be in juxtaposition to that of the Biden administration, right? People are saying, the eggs are too high, and now they're higher. Anyway, so, of course, we know that Kamala has been seen out a lot. She has a book, 107 Days, that I did read. It's at the bottom of my book pile. Otherwise, I show it to you. And she was just basically highlighting what happened in 107 days that she had to prepare to potentially become the president of the United States. In a sense, she kind of alluded that the Biden administration and all that work with them kind of threw her under the bus, sabotaged her, and things like that. So now she's getting out there early. Because y'all remember when she went to the National Action Network and had a conversation with the Reverend Al Sharpton, he asked her, are you going to run in 2028? And she says, I'm thinking about it, right? So those calls and those answers are becoming louder. In fact, I saw a poll, I think it was yesterday, in regards to the Democratic nominee for 2028, who would more than likely be nominated, and she was at the top of the list. Now, a couple of months ago, she wasn't really at the top of the list. It was Gavin Newsom and then some other people. She was kind of toward the bottom, but now she's at the top. Then it's Gavin and then some other people, right? So now it's kind of all, to me anyway, making sense as to why she's getting out there and she's sounding presidential, right? She's standing in front of gas stations and she's saying, look at the gas prices. Trump said he was going to have the gas prices come down and it's through the roof. Right. And she's going to grocery stores and having conversations and kitchen table conversations with people who are campaigning to be the president. Okay. So not too long ago, she went to the Root. What was it called? In Chicago, Sunday brunch, Power Rising 2026. And she had a conversation with Bishop Aaliyah. Now, this is what she said. And I said, really? Here we go.
And, look, it's been a bit controversial, but one of the things I've been saying is this. As I have reflected on what has been going on, I've come to the realization that part of the issue is part of the frailty, I think, of human nature for some, is they are purely transactional people. They're not pretending to be grounded in morals or values or principles. True. They're not pretending. They're literally not pretending. They're in it for what they can get out of it. Their mantra is, I'm going to get mine. I think it's okay for us to be a bit transactional too. And to say, I'm going to get mine also. And so don't count on me to be a voter and be the backbone of the Democratic Party. Because it is my value system and my ethics and my sense of civic duty and responsibility, so that you look at me and say, oh, they're going to vote, because they will always remember what everyone should remember about the blood that was shed on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Right. And so they will vote because of high level of character, which is to say, I must conduct myself in a way that I honor the ancestors and all who have sacrificed before me. And so I will vote because it is my duty for all that paved the path for me to be here. But they count on that. And I'm saying plus. They should count on the fact that we're going to expect, and they're going to have to know when they start counting on the vote, it's because they better produce if they win.
Yes. Madam is preaching today.
I mean, Kamala almost had me wanting to, right, with my little tambourine. I was like, all right now, Kamala, Pastor Kamala. Then I thought, well, I've heard that before. And it wasn't that long ago that I've heard that almost word for word, right?
On this, Rev, and I think I know it's a bit controversial, but here's how I feel about this. You know how I was talking earlier about how people are so transactional? I think we need to be transactional voters. I think, yes, it is right when we are trying to get folks to register to vote and to go vote, and it is absolutely right that we remind everyone of our history, especially when they're trying to erase it. We remind people of the lives, the bloodshed on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the sacrifice of those young people at the lunch counter, the assassination of Dr. King. There are so many things that we must remember about history so that what compels us to vote includes not only our civic duty, but honoring the ancestors. Yes, and here's what I'm suggesting in addition. Get yours. Vote and say, I'm voting because I expect something out of this. You're not going to take for granted that I'm going to vote because I'm a good citizen and it's my civic duty to vote, so that you don't even worry about whether you're producing what I need because, oh, we can count on them to vote because they remember the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'm saying it's okay to also give people permission to be transactional and to say, if you're going to get my vote, this is what I expect. I'm going to vote because I expect to get something out of this. I'm going to get mine by voting. That's what I would offer. I think it's okay to give people permission to be transactional voters.
Kamala, you almost had me. Not really. But I saw that video trending and I'm like, that sounds really familiar, right? It was almost word for word. That's why I said she's off code from the Black Democrat talking points, but she's definitely on script. So to me, that sounds like she's campaigning. It also sounds like, hey, I got to really speak to these Black voters because they, in a sense, we did. When I say we, I'm saying collectively, okay? Showed up for Kamala more than any other person, but not as much as, with Obama, Biden, Hillary, right? So her ear, or maybe her people's ear, is really to the streets. Like, damn, what have we been asking for? Right? We say stuff like no reparations, no vote. As I say, with book, what's in it for Black Americans to show up and do that, right? As she says, transactional and things like that. So it's like, okay, Kamala, you got your script. It was almost word for word. But again, I don't think the Democrats want her. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe she's like, I can get out there and fool them. And let's be honest, most, I would say, Black Democrats are still, rocking and rolling with Kamala. Anything she says and does, they'll probably vote for her. I'm hoping more and more people will wake up. But I don't know if the Democrat Party really wants her out there talking like that. Because why? We haven't been getting anything for the vote. So they're probably like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. When I worked at Frito-Lay, they had this saying that says, don't feed the bears. Okay. Now, if you go to the zoo, that's a saying they say, don't feed the bears. Why? Because bears are already going to eat. Now, in relation to when I was at Frito-Lay, their thing was don't give the employees all these gift cards and things like that, because then they won't really do their job. The reward is their paycheck. You can give them something extra every once in a while, just like the bears at the zoo. They're going to eat some fish or whatever they eat. But if the people who go to visit the zoo, give them some popcorn or whatever you give bears that you're eating, then they're going to expect that. The fish won't be good enough, right? I want the popcorn, the whatever it is you eating. So I would imagine the DNC is probably thinking the same thing. Wait a minute, Kamala. First of all, we don't know if we're going to put you up there, but if you do, you can't be telling Black folks, especially the Black American voters, to expect something for their vote. Now, I know, and if I'm the DNC, right, Democratic National Convention, Committee rather, we hear what they're saying. They want something for the vote, but we ain't have to give it to them. Yes, you have Jim Clyburn there in South Carolina. He's giving them fish, right? Fried fish fries, and he's okay, but that don't do anything more than that. Give them some, strolling to the polls, get the Divine Nine out there, and they, got the Chucks and Pearls and all, do all that stuff. Get a bus for some strippers and load them up, right? Get Jethro and the homies and put them on the bus and take them to the polls. But you can't really tell them, hey, that if I vote for you, I need something like what I'm asking for. We'll get into that for just a second. So that's why I believe, rather, that Kamala is off code. But again, she's definitely on script, because this ain't going to be the last time you'll hear her say, get yours. They can't expect for us to just be showing up to get nothing. Now ask, what's in it for me? You're going to hear her continue to say that, right? I'm like, she's got a good memory, because she said that off the top of her head. But anyway, in the speech that she was saying, or the conversation she had with the Root, she was talking to Black women, and she's talking about the backbone, right? Who is the backbone of the Democratic Party? We all know the answer to that. That's the Black woman. Okay. She's the backbone of the Democratic Party, which means that she delivers and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to show you a snippet of Kamala from 2020 when her and Biden, they, won the election. And this is what she said in part. She was referencing her mother, and this is what she said.
Is possible. And so I am thinking about her and about the generations of women, Black women, Asian, white, Latina, Native American women who throughout our nation's history have paved the way for this moment tonight. Women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all, including the Black women who are too often overlooked, but so often prove they are the backbone of our democracy.
Okay, so again, that was our Vice President-elect Kamala Harris talking about how the Black woman is the backbone of democracy, that the Democratic Party and all these other things. And she talked about all these other women. I'm like, yeah, recently, I guess other women have fought for things, but it has been the Black woman, because even when the civil rights was going on, it wasn't that many other women here, Asians and all the other women that she mentioned. It was Black women. That the civil rights and things like that was supposed to be for Black women. Right. But again, how is she the backbone of the Democratic Party, and she's the tailbone, I want to say something else, but I ain't, of her own community? What does the Black woman get, or what has she gotten, right? If we're talking about being transactional, what has she gotten to be the Democratic backbone? What has she gotten for herself? As we know now, it's a giant conversation about Black women maternal health, or the lack thereof, right? Black women are most likely to, be unalived, if you will, during the child labor process here in America, due to a lot of disparities and just a whole host of things. They really don't care about Black women much. And so it's very scary to try to deliver a baby in a hospital here. But this is the conversation that they're still having in 2026. You wouldn't even think that'd be a thing, but it is. So voting for the Democratic Party, again, not saying anything about the Republicans, only because we don't vote, I'm saying collectively, for the Republicans like we do the Democrats. The Black woman doesn't have anything to show for it. Her communities are amongst the worst, if not the worst, in the United States of America, right? And most of the cities and states that the Black women live in are what? Run by Democrats. If we're talking about the inner cities, right? But what do they do for her besides practice benign neglect? But again, the Black woman, she likes that pat on the head. Oh, girl, you did it again. You helped the Democrats, and never asking, well, what did the Democrats do for me? Because they're Black women, not even all Black women, but let's say 20% of the Black women that show up for the Democratic Party say, hey, I'm not going to do that this time. The Democrats would be in trouble. Now, I'm not good with numbers. I just threw that top of my head, 20%. I would even say probably 10% less than the Black women that showed up before. The Democrats would be in trouble if she started asking, well, what's really in it for me to be the backbone of the Democratic Party? Because, see, right now, I've helped everybody else but myself. Now, I know Black men are right behind her, voting for the Democrats, but what do I get from that? Do I get a turkey neck? Like what do I get? You get nothing, Black woman, to do that. Okay. But again, and I could have been here forever showing you all the snippets and the clips of people from the Democratic establishment saying the Black woman is the backbone, the Black woman is the backbone, but they never tell her what she gets to do that. She's saving democracy. Saving democracy for who? Okay. Not for her own community. And the Black community needs a little bit of saving. All right. So when we talk about transactional, here's a clip from that of President-elect Joe Biden from 2020. And this is what he said.
Campaign we built in red I'm proud of the coalition we put together, the broadest and most diverse coalition in history. Democrats, Republicans, independents, progressives, moderates, conservatives, young, old, urban, suburban, rural, gay, straight, transgender, white, Latino, Asian, Native American. I mean it, especially those moments, and especially those moments when this campaign was at its lowest ebb. The African American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours.
So again, that was President Joe Biden, who was the president-elect at the time. He had just realized he was elected to be the president of the United States for 2020. And he said, hey, my African Americans, you've always had my back. You showed up for me once again, right? And I'm going to do the same for you. Well, what actually happened? Did he actually show up for us? Because, I did a tiny bit of digging, and most Black Americans will say, well, hell no, you didn't show up for us, right? We don't even know where you were half the time. And if you believe what Trump said, it was an auto pen. That was a little joke, okay? I don't know if that was necessarily true, but it was an auto pen. Cited all the legislation. But anyway, so many Black Americans feel like there was a failure to pass meaningful legislation for us, right? One of the things that we've been asking for a very, 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 very long time is reparations. And we're not talking about that funky HR 40, the study of reparations. We wanted a check, okay? And we still do. They knew that. But oftentimes, people like Biden and Kamala now, right? Say, no, I don't think we want to do that. Well, that's what we want. Remember, Biden? You says, you've stood by me, you've delivered for me once again. And we're like, okay, bet. Deliver for us. No, they didn't even talk about reparations when he was in office. He or Kamala, they never mentioned it at all. They know we wanted a hate crime bill just for us. We're not talking about the Asian hate crime bill, the COVID-19, that, Roland Martin and them saying that was for everybody. But the first 5 or 6 paragraphs talking about Asian American Pacific Islander, that it didn't say in everybody else. Now it has some things in there about the his name escapes me, but the brother that was dragged by a truck here in Texas, and Matthew Shepard, the gay guy. But it was for Asians, because y'all remember they made us the boogeyman of that. Even to this day, they talk about how the Black people, they did this to us. Right? The Asians will say that. And so they got legislation, and it was unanimous from both sides of the aisles. And it was Kamala standing up there, because she's Asian American in a sense. It was Biden and all the Asian legislation. They were there signing a bill. And we're like, but Black Americans are the most endangered here. How is it that they got a bill and we didn't? So a lot of Black folks are like, in regards to that legislation, that's just some of the things, right? Well, we didn't get anything specifically. We watched everybody else, though, right? What else was on here? Oh, lack of police reform, right? The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Y'all know what happened to George Floyd there in May of 2020, where Derek Chauvin put a knee to his neck for almost 10 minutes, taking his very life. Everybody was horrified, still are horrified. It's something I cannot watch to this day. I had to at one point in time when I was reporting on it, but I can never watch it again. It was so horrific. So, there was supposed to be a George Floyd Justice and Policing Act where they was going to do police reform and this, that, and the other. And they talked about it on the federal level. I think it only went through the House, and it's collecting dust along with the reparations study and a whole host of other things. We even saw Kamala when she went to Tyree Nichols' funeral in Memphis, where those 5 Black police officers took the life of a Black man. She stood in that pulpit and she says, I'm going to go back to Washington and I'm going to tell that's how she sounded to me anyway. I'm going to tell Joe Biden to sign the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And he never did. Okay. But now what do we hear about? We hear the Democrats running around everywhere they can run around, talking about, we need ICE reform. We need to abolish ICE. Oh, gosh, we're going to hold them accountable. Representative Jayapal, right? She says, when we get the gavel back in our hand, we being the Democrats, we're going to make ICE pay. They're going to have to come before us and answer for what they've done. And in the meantime, Illegal immigrants are going to get some reparations. She said, we got to find a way to fund it. That's what she said. But, you know, speaking of transactional, black folks, we don't have anything to show for being the most loyal group of voters to the Democratic Party. But I'm listening, Kamala. You say yes, ask for something for your vote. Okay. What else? A lot of black folks felt, well, Kamala being the first black. Hey, listen, y'all do what y'all want to do with that. Okay. I know she's black today. She ain't black. I don't know. Okay. But she often refers to herself as a black woman in her book. Even, I've heard her talk about, so I don't want to have that argument. She can be purple for all I care. But a lot of black folks says, well, she's the first black vice president woman, this, that, and the other. She sure didn't do a damn thing for black folks. Like Barack Obama. He's the first black president, wasn't he? First black president to not do a damn thing for black folks, and admitted it, and in a sense was hardy about it. Well, I just couldn't make white people mad, so I didn't do anything for black. Not that it's funny, but just thinking about it, like you sit up there with your legs crossed. Well, I do. That white people, they didn't really want that, so I just kicked black folks in their tailbone even more, and they voted for me twice, right? So yeah, a lot of black folks are wondering, well, what was the point of putting Kamala Harris in office and she, ignored black folks, right? We know that with the Biden administration, between, she was there, Biden, Harris, they ushered in a whole lot of illegal immigrants. As some say 10 million or more, okay, came through here through the time that they were in office. And we know that a lot of them converged on black communities, and they got a whole lot of things that black residents were told they couldn't have, okay? Even as something as simple as a youth center there in Chicago. They've been told, oh, we got to get the money. We're going to think about it. We're going to try to open it. And as soon as the immigrants got over there, bam, they opened it up and turned it into a shelter, didn't they? Right? So what did black Americans get? And I know Kamala's not black American, but, what did we get for her being there? Nothing. Okay. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, a lot of black Americans felt that there was not racial equity. Well, what does that mean? There wasn't no racial equity for us. We didn't get the things that we wanted. We are not doing any better than we were before they were elected, or anybody for that matter. But I'm just saying, since we heard them to acknowledge that the black woman is the backbone, and my African Americans, you showed up for me, and I'm gonna show up for you. No, you didn't. But you showed up for, don't you? Yes, you do. You showed up for the illegal immigrants. And as I said, the Democrats are still trying to show for the illegal immigrants. But yeah, under the Biden administration, boy, I tell you, y'all saw the infamous video when he was talking to the Black Miss leadership. Y'all listen up. Okay. Listen up. The Hispanics, they're going to come over here and they're going to outnumber you. You got to learn to work with them. Al Sharpton, he leaned back in his chair. They didn't say a word. It's almost like, because I guess they were trying to go with their hat in their hand, like, hey, more soup for me. And he was like, I'm not doing a damn thing for y'all. In fact, this is what I will do. So y'all begging, you know what I'm saying? So they showed up for illegal immigrants. Black Americans, nothing. But you know what? Black folks, don't try to tip out the door, put your Baptist finger up just yet. They couldn't do that without you. When I say you, I mean us, right? Collectively, we've all kept the Democratic Party in power while kicking us in the tailbone, practicing benign neglect of us, acting like we don't matter, and then will sit. I'll tell you, I wish I could not be mad about this, but will sit themselves up and talk about they gonna get reparations for illegal immigrants due to the trauma that they experienced due to ICE and Trump. Mind you, them people came over here. Nobody forced them to. Now, if you want to go deeper and say, oh, the United States, they destabilized governments. Yes, they're doing it as we speak. Yes. But a lot of them people came over here wasn't because their government was destabilized by the United States. They came over here because they heard that somebody had opened up the border doors and said, come on over. When you get here, you're going to get a phone. And on that phone is going to give you an app. It's going to tell you where to go, how to go, who to talk to. I know a man, go to the back alley maker, and they'll give you everything you need type of thing, right? And he show you where a man open up his coat. What do you want? So, again, Kamala's out there talking about Be transactional. Get yours. Get yours. Well, Kamala, I'm here to tell you we're going to hold you to it because something tells me Kamala will be on that ticket, right? I don't know. Maybe it'll be Newsom or somebody else to spring up, but I think it probably will be Kamala. And I wish you win. I don't know. But we're going to take you at your word. We're going to hold you to it. We're going to ask something for the vote. That's cute, Kamala. Yes, yeah, get yours. But what are you gonna do? And now we ain't falling for that. Well, just listen. Get me in office first. If you get me in there, right? I think we've heard a lot of fairy tales and fables of if you just do it for me now, right? Then I'll do it. I can't remember right top of my head, Rumpelstiltskin or some of them, right? Just do it, and then I'll give it to you. We're not falling for that. We're gonna hold you to it. You need to go in there, with your chest, right? Nuh-uh. I would not be asking for Black Americans to vote for me unless I'ma do something for them, right? She sounds like she's from like Foxy Brown or something. And she needs to outline that. I'm gonna get reparations. Okay, on day one when I get in there, because they got a day one list of things they're gonna do. Day one. Since my most loyal group of voters, the Black Americans, they showed up for me on day one. I'm going to sign in legislation that checks are going to be rolling off, right? You could do it because y'all do legislation on day one for everybody else. If you ain't talking like that, ma'am, and you show some credible, sources that you're going to do that, then people might vote for other people, or as they say, the couch. And I know, the Democrats, they hate that couch saying. They hate that couch. They talking about they gonna vote for the couch. That means some people are just like, I'm not gonna do it. There's no reason for me to do it. But more importantly, this is an admonishment for us as Black Americans. In the meantime, see, we'll get our reparations faster. And it's been said, not by me, I'm parroting talking points at this point, from Dr. Claude Anderson, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, everybody you can think of said, hey, when you practice group economics, you do for self, up you might a nation, accomplish what you will, those reparations will come a lot faster, but they ain't gonna come until we get our stuff together. Because how do you continue to beg for something, and not that we're begging for reparations is due us, but we give 97% of almost $2 trillion away. Like, who's making us do that? They said if we keep 10%, I'm gonna keep on just keep on saying the same old things because it needs to be repetitious. If we kept 10%, not the 3 that we're barely hanging on to, but if we kept 10%, we can change the game. We can build our own businesses, create our own schools, and we can buy into politics a little bit more and say, hey, we are working together, and we feel that you as a politician coming to get our vote, you got to do these things for us, and if you don't, we'll be all right. We don't need you to show up and give us a fish fry. We can fry our own fish. We got our own money. Until you come around here talking like you're gonna do something for real, then we don't need to we don't need to engage in that. Now I know they say the Asians, they don't vote. They do vote. I think the question is, do they really need to? Or any of those other communities that practice group economics, that circulate their dollars more than we do. It said 6 hours. So it's not a issue if they need to. They do, right? Because they got their money working and all that. So they're like, hey, the politicians going to listen to us because we got our thing going on. So we got to get to that point to where we are. See, we're already a force to be reckoned with. I just don't think we realize it. Because if the Black vote didn't matter, they wouldn't court it. They wouldn't even mention it. It matters. If like I said, if even a smaller percentage of us dropped off, they would be in trouble. So with that, we got to vote responsibly, vote for something with vote. What's in it for Black Americans? And let's get our money together. Let's get our businesses together to where when we get our reparations check, that's just money in the bank because we already got our thing going on, right? So anyway, let me see what y'all got to say. Thank you for bearing with me. But yeah, Kamala's off code, but she definitely on script. Watch, y'all gonna hear her talking. Say it again. Get yours, yeah, get yours. Y'all just be asking us to vote for nothing now, the ancestors and all this. So yeah, she's got it all memorized. All right, going all the way to the top. Let's see. The Bible of Truth. What's going on with you? Hope you're doing well today. One Unique Monique, good morning to you as well. Mike Nice in the building. I will see you later on 5 p.m. Central Time. I got a great conversation we are going to be having. Very interesting to say the least. Black Rose, she says, not one Democrat is advocating for an anti-Black hate crime bill. Not one Democrat is advocating for reparations for FBA. So why FBA voting blue? I mean, that's a good question. And those are conversations we got to ask ourselves. Why are we voting for something that's not for us? When you vote, you're supposed, like Kamala said, get yours. I swear I'm going to make that a soundbite. Get yours. Kamala said. So next time one of your homies or the family members that are big time Democrats say, well, you know, you need to quit tripping. Kamala said, get yours. See, I'm only doing what Kamala said. Kamala said, don't be for showing up for nothing. Voting's got to be transactional, right? And what they going to say? Well, stop listening to Kamala. I don't know. Arthur, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. AT, what's going on with you? Corey, how you doing? Says peanut butter and mustard. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't eat a peanut butter and mustard sandwich. They don't go together. But I'm glad you got the point. FBA Seattle, what's going on with you? Say FBA. Let's see, skipping on down. Lene, you know what? You better stop at the ski wee out. But what did Biden say? I know the power of the divine nine. I know not to mess with them. That's what he said. It's like, what are they gonna do? But yeah, that's what Kamala's part of the ski wee crowd. So yeah, Albie Chili says, low key, she's telling us how they've been taking us for granted. They know. Again, it's the don't feed the bears. Black Americans, like, think of the psychology of that. Black Americans will show up for absolutely nothing. You ain't got to do nothing for them. You got to go to a church here and there and pretend and get, you know, you think about it. You listen to Cory Booker, you listen to Ralph Warnock, you listen to Kamala Harris. You better think of you remember, right? They all kind of go to Barack Obama. They all sounded like, if you close your eyes and listen, you're like, damn. I can't tell which one it is because they got that preachy type of thing, right? And they know. Y'all heard Kamala. I sped it up just a tiny bit. But y'all heard her there. There's people in the crowd, and the lady there was like, amen. She preaching. Is she? Is she preaching? So it's how she's saying it, right? So yeah. They know they've been taking us for granted. So, you know, don't offer them anything other than what they've been getting, which is absolutely nothing. Some preaching and symbolism. So yeah, Mama Deb, what's going on? Says she really thinks she's saying something. Yeah, it's the script, you know. Another thing is, like, you don't think people are paying attention. You don't think people are gonna say, "Get yours," the ancestors and the Pettus Bridge and the John. Like it's the same thing. It's almost. I wish I still had it up here. I don't. But she says on both times. I know this is going to be a bit controversial. She said that's how she starts off. I know this is going to be a bit controversial. And as I asked, what's so controversial about telling Black people to ask for something for their vote? Is it controversial because you're getting off code and they don't want you to talk like that? But it's a script. Todd, how you doing? Lynn, what's going on with you? Says accountability, and he got question marks there, and I'm sure it's probably something I said. Elmira, what's going on with you? Say weak. Okay. Lynn, he says the accountability means they must produce. Yeah. Don't listen to your Al Sharptons and all of them talking about, well, if you would just vote for the right person. It's like, well, what have we been voting for? Black folks, Black voters, Black Americans, traditionally, we vote if they Black. We vote if they Democrat, right? What else do we need to do? Like we got all these Black, misrepresentation in office and been in office, and they continue to neglect us. So what else do we need to do? Like, why are you putting that on our plate as though we're not voting for the right person? And we're not, obviously, right? But per what he is saying, that we would just vote hard enough, we might get somebody in there who will give us reparations. So yeah, he's foolish. Bouillard Sale, what's going on with you? Says I don't trust her. Yeah, Kamala gonna do what she got to do. She gonna get hers, right? Get yours. JJ, how you doing? Yeah, Kamala is now soul sister number one. I can dig it. You could be soul sister number one, but you ain't gonna be soul sister number one in the White House. If Black Americans can help it, if you ain't really talking about nothing. Like, I could see probably voting for Kamala if she was really about that life. I ain't talking about you just talking to, walking tall and talking tough. And no, I ain't talking about that. Like what I said earlier, for real, you come up with something that we can sink our teeth into. I don't think she will, but yeah, you sound good, but all right. Mr. Red, how you doing? Says they better start producing for FBA right now. They have to give before the next vote. Yeah, no, not that. You just show up. I promise you, if you show up, no. Adi here, what's going on with you? Thank you for asking everybody. Hit the like button. Appreciate you. Doug, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Aaron in the building. Grand rising to you as well. Computer Blue, what's going on? Says, yeah, the Democrats are desperate and can't be trusted. They will say anything to get back into power to finish their Black erasure immigrant replacement agenda. And yes, I don't know if y'all paying attention, but you're starting to hear a lot of these Black politicians, depending on where they are, they're starting to talk about reparations again, right? I can't remember her name, but she's talking about reparations. It's going to come to me maybe. But then I saw Representative Al Green and Representative, what's his name, Chris Menifee. He just took over Sylvester Turner's seat. They're now talking about reparations, and we need this reparations board and all this other. So they're starting to talk like that now. And it's like, well, they too have been hearing Black Americans say, oh, is that right? Y'all want to do all this stuff for immigrants, but you ain't saying a word for us. Yeah, okay. And see how that pans out for you. So they're just talking. Nobody's really serious about getting Black Americans reparations. They're more serious about getting immigrants, illegal immigrants, I should say, reparations than they are for us. And as I say, and I don't care if anybody likes it or gets mad. And I say this to you all the time. I used to be a Democrat. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to kid. I was a Democrat, big time Democrat. You couldn't say nothing to me, boo. I was a Democrat. But as I woke up and started to get more information, I am firmly under the belief that the Democrat Party hates Americans, and specifically they hate Black Americans. That's just my opinion. I really do, especially if you look at it somewhere like California, the way they legislating illegal immigration, this illegal immigration, that, and it's just, wow. What are you trying to do for the residents there? They're dangerously close. I don't know if dangerously is a good word, but they're dangerously close. California is a blue state. They might have a Republican governor. It's not, they've had them before, but it's very blue. So, and a lot of the Californians that I speak to, a lot of them are diehard Democrats, but they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to vote for a Democratic governor. I'm all right with a Republican governor because they are just in cuckoo land, cuckoo bananas, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for illegal immigration. It's scary, actually. They don't care. So they are, they are very desperate, but yeah, they don't care. Arthur, how you doing? Says Kamala Harris is backstabbing. What? Well, tell us how you really feel. She's very boule. She is part of the boule. Yes. Jerome, what's going on? She says the lady has no intention of doing anything positive just for the Black community. She will only harm the Black community. And that's what the Democrats do. Republicans, yes, they participate in harming of Black folks, but we don't show up for them. And I'm going to keep saying that because I know there's a lot of people who maybe got molasses in their brain. Well, what about the Republicans? I don't know. What about them? Do you vote for the Republicans now? Then why are you talking about them? Should you be talking about the party that you vote for the most and they do nothing for you? That's who you should. That, to me, that's a logical, line of reasoning there. I want to take the task of the people that benefit from me the most, not the people who don't. It's stupid. I know you're not supposed to say, I say it's stupid. Okay, I won't go as far as call people stupid. Not today, anyway. Revolutionary, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else haven't I seen? Amram, how you doing? Says nothing. This woman says the truth. She is a liar and will never get my vote. When you say never, you mean never, right? Shan, how you doing? Says Kamala really won't. I will vote now. He says, but when she gave it, what's she gonna do with it? Question mark. Probably the same thing as Biden. But she said that when she was asked on The View. Could you think of anything you do differently? That was Sunny Hostin, right? I don't know if that's how she talks, but Kamala, she says, no, I can't think of anything. So yeah, they're going to continue the status quo. That's what Biden said. He's going to continue the status quo. And it's like, as black folks, when we heard him say that, we should have clutched our pearls. Or you call her and say, oh, you're going to continue the status quo. Well, what has the status quo been doing for us? Yikes. But he said he was going to continue it, right? Aaron says the boomers and older, I can't see past the Democrats and be ready to fight, saying otherwise, shaking my head. Yeah, they're conditioned as well. But unfortunately, the baby boomers are starting to, well, maybe they're starting to see the face of Jesus, just because of age, right? Now it's up to us. Say, I'm not going to continue to do what they're doing. I want something for my vote, right? One take only. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Dex, how you doing? Says Frito-Lay. Yes, Rancho Cucamonga. Yes, I worked at Frito-Lay and Rancho Cucamonga from 95 to 2011 until I got injured or injured my hand and I could not work there anymore. And here I am, which was a blessing in disguise, right? Yeah, I worked there. I'm so behind in the comments, but let me try to catch up. Roosevelt, how you doing? Yes, y'all don't like the strippers to the polls? And then you don't want the strippers twirling around in the bus, clicking their heels together? Not that I know a lot about that. Jesse, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Beverly, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Ren's in the building. What's going on with you? I really don't know a lot about I don't know a lot of, I know something about strippers, but I've never been one. I know some strippers, but they don't do it anymore. But I know of some. One of them's actually a politician now, believe it or not. Strange how life happens. Gold Crown Eyes, how you doing? Chris, what's a pigtail? What about a pigtail? Alonzo, how you doing? Long time no see. Where have you been? Says, ask Jasmine Crockett and Corey Bush. Yeah, they out of there, aren't they? Yeah. I think Corey Bush may be trying to get back into Washington. She fell out of favor with the people. So yeah. Sheila, how you doing? Says, after 400 years, ain't nothing changed, period. Well, we got to change it. We have to change it. Right? So yeah. Jesse says, yeah, we see how that worked out. First class citizen, what's going on with you? Hope that you're doing well. McQueen, he says that fool forgot all about black people right after he talking about Biden after he got in office. He forgot about a lot of things. He probably forgot his own name. Like, who am I? I probably shouldn't be making jokes about that. GT, how you doing? Says they all got the scammer look. Yeah, most politicians do. Politicians. Okay. I think they are trained to lie. Pretend that you're going to do something, but you don't really do nothing, right? It's the 3-card Molly. I know you think you saw it here, but it's really over here. I don't know. Jim, how you doing? Says he definitely showed up for Africans so that half, I guess, he didn't show up for Africans either, honestly. He damn sure didn't show up for Haitians. Y'all remember right there on the Texas border when Haitians were coming through and the men on horseback looked like something out of the plantation, right? They riding around and they had their lassos and all kind of stuff, roping them up. Biden was like, he said it. Oh, we can't afford to keep them here. We just can't afford it. So like you can't afford to keep them or you can't afford to keep immigrants because we saw that you afforded immigrants, but just not the Haitians, which if you ask me if any of the immigrants deserve to be here, it should be the Haitians. Their government has really been destabilized by the United States at the hands of the United States. So if there's an argument for it, okay. But now we're seeing, especially with the Democrats and the Republicans are pissed. The Democrats want to keep 350 Haitians who have temporary protected status here. It ended in February, but there's been some sort of a stay through the courts, or maybe not. Is it through the courts? I don't know. But I know that some Republicans and Democrats have said, hey, we want to extend that for 3 years. So it's got to go through the Senate, whether the 350,000 Haitians or whatever will remain here. So yeah. This guy, how you doing? Says Harris got to lay off the sauce. Her Democrat party founded the KKK and a lot more to hurt Americans of all colors. I hope folks wake up. Yeah, the Democrats are the founder of the KKK, and I know there's a lot of argument. It's not the party of the KKK. They're all. I wish people really would understand the Southern switch. I did a video on it maybe a year or so at this point, but just take a moment just to really study the Southern strategy, the Southern switch, because the way people tell it, oh, all of the racists left that Democrat Party and now they're in the Republicans. All the racists didn't leave the Democrats. There's a lot of them who stayed. Strom Thurmond is one of them. Biden is another. That's why they call him a Dixiecrat. He didn't leave. Now I know he got to Washington in the 70s or something like that, but there's a lot of racists who stayed in the Democrat Party who thought like the KKK, the Klan. So they didn't like just say, well, we're just going to switch parties. And that's not how that worked. I mean, you could tell for yourself how the Democrat Party operates now, especially with Black Americans. They're the most hostile to Black Americans in the way they don't legislate for us. And a whole host of other things. I told y'all the other day, I'm a slow reader when it comes to certain books, but I'm reading this book. I'm not gonna say it on here on the app. I could say, but I'm gonna read to y'all something from this book. Well, I'll say it. I think I can say it. It's a book. It's in the library. It's called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. Okay, y'all want to get it from the Nation of Islam? Y'all could go get it. And I talked about this on my show the other day. I'm gonna try my best to read this in the right way. So basically, this particular passage that I'm going to read talks about the Democrat Party and the relation to Black Americans at the time, right? It's like the 1800s. And it says the Democrat Party was the only means. This is what one of them people, historians said. The Democrat Party was the only means under the providence of saving the white race from obliteration by the N-word. Again, the Democratic Party was the only means under the providence of saving the white race from obliteration by the N-word. Now, mind you, when we were freed off of those plantations, we were in, political offices and we're doing well. We're like, okay, great, we're free. We're going to do some things. But white folks, they hated that. And that's where you hear like the Birth of the Nation, that movie and things like that. All the fear mongering came out. Oh, the Black folks, they're going to do this to us. But it says this in this book. Now, I like to reference these books, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, because this is not an opinion-based book. It is all information that came from them people. So all I'm going to say. But they felt like the Democratic Party was going to be the party to keep Black folks in their place away from destroying white folks. Those are facts. I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, let's see. Skipping down. Oh, I got 8 minutes. Who else haven't I seen? See, I'll just be off on a tangent. Mr. Ernest, how you doing? Says, cut the check if you want to be the one that's elected down. Monty Green Beans, what's going on with you? Says, seems as if some channels want to leave room for the Democrats to redeem themselves. I mean, I think the Democrats will redeem themselves. I think they'll get back in the office, but what are we going to do about it? How are we going to continue to save ourselves once they get in? Because they've said once we get in, we undoing all this stuff. You heard Trump and them say, oh, if they get back in, we might go to jail. And I'm wondering, what are you doing to go to jail? You know what I mean? But so the Democrats have not bitten their tongue. Thank you, Alonzo James Bird. I know that was some time ago, but that was the Black man that was dragged here in Texas behind the truck. But they say, yeah, once they get in the office, yeah, then we get the gavel back. It's a wrap. And that really means it's a wrap for us, to be honest with you. They're not going to do anything for us unless we make them, right? And Representative Jayapal, she's a Democrat. And she has a lot of Black people in her district that vote for her. I don't know how she get a Black vote after she said that. If Black folks vote for her in her district there in Washington State, I might call them stupid. I ain't gonna do it today, but if they do, I think that's a pretty stupid thing to do. When she sat up there and said that she wants to give illegal immigrants reparations, but none for them. Ultimate Gaming, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Who is Haven? I don't even know who that is. Miguel, how you doing? Says that Letitia James and her sellout A was so responsible for that Asian hate crime bill. Yeah, a lot of that took place in New York. You're absolutely right. In San Francisco. Aaron, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Every little bit that y'all donate helps. I appreciate it so much. J Money, what's going on with you? Says you hear Trump pass a bill to give So it's not reparations. You're talking about the Jewish community. It's not necessarily reparations like money. It's to give them their artifacts back. Because I looked into it. Now the Obama administration, they facilitated a form of reparations for Jewish community, the elders. But that particular one is to get their artifacts back that was caught up in Nazi Germany. But I do know what you're talking about. Mad Dog, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I know I'm not going to get to everybody's comments, so y'all must forgive me. Cameron, what's going on with you? Let me skip all the way down because I do want to acknowledge everybody who's donated. Extreme X, what's going on with you? Del Monte Green Beans, she says, don't give him a chance anymore. Nah, I mean, everybody else want to give him a chance. Great. Us, what's in it for us to do that? If they can't answer that, well, you know what we got to do. Democracy's in danger. Trump. Okay, Trump. What about Trump? He's taking the black books out to school. You ain't got them in your house. So what difference do it make? You mean to tell me you're going to be mad at this orange sucker for taking black books out of a school and you don't got them in your own house? Stick yourself. See, I've watched the Mac too many times. But stick yourself. Metaphorically speaking. If you ain't got those same books you whining about, the Trump is getting rid of in the schools, and shut up. I mean, really, I'm not going to complain about a book that I don't have in my own library that I haven't bought for my child and it's not in the school. So I'm just saying. Aggie, what's going on? Trying to acknowledge everybody. I know I won't be able to. I must get better at that. Dr. Vibe in the building. How you doing? Says, would be interesting to see how long Ms. Harris keeps this stance. They'll talk to her. They say, listen, Heifer, we know that you may be at the top of the ticket again. You got to stop talking about transactional, getting something for you. You can't talk like that to them. Because if you feed the bears, they're going to want more than the fish fry. They're going to want more than that. They're going to want some hot sauce with it. You start doing that, then we might have to deliver. I mean, that's how that works, you know. Beverly, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. I'm trying. I'm waking up too, right? I was in a slumber. Trust me, I was. I'm never going to lie to y'all. Talk about how I've always been woke. I never voted for the man. I told y'all. When Obama won, the first time I fell on my knees. I'm glad nobody took a video of that. My brother, you know, he's always been a lifelong Republican. My older brother, he always reminds me, oh, you fell on your knees when Obama got elected the first time. You were crying. And he was just looking at me like. So, yeah, he says, I'm going to have to call you Folgers. All right, I like that. Folgers in your cup. Yes, indeed. Ryan says, as Janet says, what have you done for me lately, right? And what you going to do for me tomorrow? That has to be the question. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Bro Goo in the building. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to get out of here. I wish one who cares how you doing. I will see y'all tonight on my show, 5 p.m. Central Time. We're going to have an interesting conversation. Jay, get yours. I'm going to have to perfect that with the now. Get yours. But thank you for the donation. Love it. Love it. Appreciate you for that. Kamala gave us another one. Then we need to put a compilation of her little sayings together. You better thank the union member. Well, I'm not going to do something just for black people now. And now, get yours. You know what I mean? Get yours. She is so cool with it. Get yours. And it's like, I will. So anyway, y'all love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see you, D-Mac, how you doing? See y'all later on 5 p.m. Central Time, and I will see y'all tomorrow 11 a.m. Central Time on this channel. In the meantime, make sure that you get our app because we made it just for you, your mama, your grandmama, your granddaddy, your children, and whoever else needs it, right? Get everybody one so they can get this good information. Peace.